Okay, so this is a IB question, higher level question. It's from diabetes, topic 6. So two graphs are shown here, and type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. And there's two age group. One is adolescents, less than 10 years. Another graph is for 10 to 19 years and is different ethnic groups, 5 different ethnic groups in United States, and we are looking at the rate of new cases per 100,000 per year. So this is the general information from the question, and what from theory we know about type 1 diabetes is type 1 diabetes is actually a genetic, and it shows up a bit early in life. This information we have from the theory, and in this case insulin not produced. While type 2 diabetes is generally not genetic, it develops over time. You can connect it with obesity, fat metabolism and all, and in this case the body have insulin resistance. Means body is producing insulin, but it is resistant to the function of insulin. So this is the general information we have from the question and the theory so far. Now the question: identify among people aged 10 to 19 years which ethnic group shows highest rate of new cases, both type 1 and type 2. It means we are looking at this graph, and this is the key. So which ethnic group in age this highest type 1 diabetes? So we know type 1 diabetes is this. This is type 1 diabetes. So this is European. And type 2 diabetes, this is highest type 2 diabetes, which is Native America. So both answer required to gain 1 mark. Now next question is again looking at the graph 10 to 19, and we are looking at type 2 diabetes in African ethnicity. So we are looking at this part, and the question is asking you rate of new cases. So here you can see type 1 and type 2, only type 2 we are looking at. So type 2 diabetes, the key is here, from here to here. So it's around 35 and 15, so around 20 cases, 18 to 20 cases. 1 mark question. Now next question is asking you compare, and this is the Commentum to age group studies. So both graph we are going to look at. In comparison, generally we have to have the similarities and differences both. This is a 2 mark question, so we will look at 2 age group similarity. So in case of similarity, you can see the lowest. You can have many other things which you can identify, but type 1 shows a similar pattern. So type 1 shows a similar pattern here to here, here to here. That becomes the similarity in both age group. And then type 2 were greater among those. You can see all type 2 is greater in this age group. So because we are comparing, so similarity I have given, and greater, this is the difference. Next question: relative proportion type 1 and type 2 diabetes between the different ethnic group. It is a very wide question, and it is again 2 mark question. So there's you have to give similarities. 1 similarity, 1 difference. Relative proportion of type 1 between different ethnic group. There's no age group is given, so you can get the information from anywhere, but it should be very much clear that. So 1 is given: European have lowest rate of type 2 diabetes. You can see here, lowest in both. Type 2 have higher rate of type 1. So you are comparing from European, from lowest rate in type 2 only have a highest rate of type 1. So you are comparing type 1 and type 2 in this case or you can take any other as well. Now, API, which is the Asian Pacific, this one and this one, we are comparing rate higher for type 2 than type 1. So here type 2 is higher than type 1 in type 2 than type 1, yes. Another one, you can take any other example. Another one here is given is Native America has the lowest cases, type 1, but highest in type 2. So here is lowest, but here is highest. Very clearly 3 points are given. Now, reason for different rates. Reason is again a very wide command term. You can suggest any reason. In type 2 diabetes, if we look at type 2 diabetes only, we can see that it is very much high here, type 2 diabetes in older age, as we know about the theory. So basically, it's, as I told you, it's not genetic, it's basically lifestyle based. We can talk about fat metabolism, which is counted as a genetic factor, but it develops over time due to lifestyle. So you can give a reason as intake of more fats or carbohydrates or junk food or different diet. Western diets are very different from the traditional. That could be one of the reason. So this is again an area where its valid reason is given, will give you a mark. Now, next part of the question is talking about, another graph is given, and there's some information from theory that insulin is so insulin is produced. We know that what is the function of insulin is to convert glucose stored in the form of glycogen. It is stored in liver or muscle cell. Here it is giving an information that muscle normally respond to insulin by absorbing glucose. So in type 2 diabetes, what study is going to happen is glucose absorption is observed when the cells which are not responding are placed in plasma fatty acids. So they are put for first 5 hours in the lipid solution, and then next 3 hours they were washed out. So you can see the graph where the plasma fatty acid amount is increasing first 5 hours when it is bathed, and then it is decreasing when it is washed out. Enzyme activity decrease when the fatty acids concentration increase, while enzyme activity increase when it washed off or decreased. So this is the information we have from the question. Now suggest the relationship. As we saw in previous graph, it's going, it is increasing, this increase, this decrease. It's a negative correlation, or you can say inverse relation. Okay. Now calculate the percentage change in first 5 hours. So first 5 hours is this, and we are looking at the enzyme activity. So if we look at the enzyme activity, the initial activity is somewhere here. So you can say 5.2, 5.3, 5.5. This one is here. We can see mine. So the initial one is 5.5. The final one is around 3. So the percentage change is initial minus final divided by initial times 100. So 5.5 minus 3 by 5.5 times 100. So it will come around approximately 45%. So a decrease of 45%. The range is taken because of the uncertainty, 44 to 47. Now, using the data whether the effect of lipid on this enzyme is reversible, we are going to discuss. It's a 2-mark question. Use the data. So you see, you can use the data from here that 5 hours, the plasma fatty acids, when they were increasing, the enzyme activity decreasing. But after that, it comes back, it increased. So it means it is reversible. You can give the data, you can talk about the initial reading and the final reading to support your discussion. So yes, it is reversible as activity returns to the original level. So you can give the number around 5. 5.5 or around 5.2 or 5.3. Then because it's discussed 2-mark question, when fatty acids wash, the enzyme are more active, activity increase after washing off. So this is another point. Difference between start and final is insignificant. So that is another point. Very straightforward discussion, or you can talk about some more points, but these are very straightforward 3 points. Now further study, there's another graph, and further study was undertaken looking at the effect of increased concentration of glucose, concentration of insulin on glucose, absorption of muscle bathed in lipids. After 5 hours, the readings are taken. So control muscles with no lipids is this, muscles bathed in lipid. So initial is same, but when you see insulin concentration increasing, the absorption of glucose in control, it increase, but in muscles bathed in lipids is increase as well, but not significantly. So this information we get from the graph. Comment on the effect. So it's just a comment, no discussion, no explanation, no description required. Just observe the graph and comment. So insulin increase cause more glucose concentration, so absorption is happening. Here more, here more. So increase insulin concentration, more glucose absorption, data also is given. But if you see is less in control, lipid, this one is always less than the control. So this is another point of comment. No further or slight increase, slight decrease in glucose absorption beyond 10 to the power 3. Here you can see, here you can see. So this is how you can simply comment, and I think this is all about this question. Thank you.